Glory to Jesus Christ. Today is Wednesday, February 25th, the third day of the fast. And we continue to learn more about Father Alexander Elchaninov and read some excerpts from his diary. Today we'll read a little bit about when he became a priest and when he was ordained. So this was in 1926 that Father Alexander was ordained into the holy priesthood, and we hear these words about that. Entry to the priesthood in 1926 meant for Father Alexander the natural continuation both of his inner development and of his outward activity. More than that, in priesthood, he discovered what he was really called to be, realizing God's design for himself. One of his friends said about his physical appearance on the day of his ordination, all his icon-like features seemed at last to have found their true image. Priesthood gave new inspiration to his whole life. Before priesthood, he wrote a year after his ordination, there was so much I had to be silent about, holding myself back. Priesthood for me means the possibility of speaking with a full voice. Describing his feelings during those first days of his ministry, Father Alexander wrote, I feel calm and serene, often happy, almost in bliss. I know a firm hand is leading me. This was clear to me even before my ordination, and particularly during the ordination itself, and it is still so at present. And have I not been blessed by many miracles? Was it not miraculous that I become a priest? My ordination took place in exceptional circumstances, helped by the general goodwill of my friends, encouraged by my wife's full consent and approval, and upheld by Father Sergius's good counsel. And so hearing these, his own description of how joyous it was early on in his priesthood, it reminds me of my own ordination. Archbishop Job of blessed memory ordained me to the priesthood in 1994, and it's hard to believe so many years have passed since that ordination. But when he wrote those words, was it not miraculous that I become a priest? I have to share those words as well. Never in my wildest dreams as I was younger would I have dreamed that I would become a priest. So glory to God for that. One of the things that we do throughout the fast is read the prayer of St. Ephrem. And one of the things that we continually hear in that prayer is, O Lord, grant me to see my own transgressions and not to judge my brother. And so Father Alexander writes in his diary a number of times about the theme of spiritual blindness and connecting that as we hear the Lenten prayer of St. Ephrem, that grant me to see my own transgressions. If we don't see them, then we're blinded to them. And so we actually have two excerpts to read from Father Alexander's diary today on the topic of blindness. The first one is, blindness toward our own sins is due to partiality. Probably we see many things, but we estimate them wrongly. We make excuses for them and relate them incorrectly to each other. This is an almost instinctive reaction. It is most important for our salvation to see our own sins, to love the truth more than ourselves, to reject self. This is the beginning of salvation. So to think about that the beginning of salvation is to get away from our spiritual blindness, to see things as they are. So he continues in another excerpt, writing about blindness again. How often we are blind, not seeing our own sins, blind when we see the faults of other people, or fail to see other people's good qualities, blind when we think that we possess the truth and reject the point of view of others. May God send us wise simplicity. May he restore the sight of our eyes, blinded by the darkness of sin, so that we may see ourselves and the entire world in the light of Christ's truth. What a beautiful theme to think of at the very beginning of this fast, thinking about blindness and how we have to struggle to be able to see ourselves as we really are. And that's a hard thing. He writes in that first excerpt that it's instinctive that we don't go that direction and think that way. And how often it is that we're blinded to see the good in someone else, and that we only see their faults. So we strive to work on this during the fast. Each time we hear and read this prayer of St. Ephrem, and hopefully we're doing it daily during the fast, that we would hear those words, and especially the word see, that grant me to see my own transgressions and not to judge my brother. And of course, this connects to what we heard yesterday about not judging. And we'll leave today because of this theme of blindness, thinking after Pascha as well. So the sixth Sunday of Pascha, we remember the blind man, the man who was born without eyes. And so how fitting it would be today to read one of the texts from the services of that Sunday after Pascha, as we remember the blind man and remember that we are striving ourselves not to be spiritually blinded. Give me to drink of your boundless wisdom and of heavenly knowledge, O Christ, for you are the light of those in darkness and the guide of those who have lost their way. Thus I will clearly recount what the Holy Book teaches in the Gospel of Peace about the miracle you performed for the blind man. He had been in darkness from his birth, and he received from you both physical and spiritual sight, crying out in faith, "You are the most radiant light of those in darkness." And to be reminded that Christ is the light. If we're in the dark, we are blind. He lights up the world for us, as he did to that man born without eyes, and gave him the ability to see physically and spiritually. Glory to Jesus Christ.